Copilot Basics. This course is a course for new users working with LLMs or copilots. In this course, I'll be using Scout. You can go to scoutos.com and follow along. This course will be simply showing some prompt techniques to try to get the best out of AIs. And it is a little precursor to learning to work with AI agents because you iterate and build on them using the same skill sets as you do with copilots. For starters, when you jump into an AI system, you'll get a similar interface like this, a chat interface. And when you first start to play with it, you may find that you may get unimpressive results. And it's not necessarily a fault of your own or a fault of the LLM. It really is just this distance. I always think of these LLMs are really smart brains with amnesia, right? They don't remember things well. So you have to be explicit about what you want. Putting in something like, help me write an email, just does not give any kind of context or description. Certainly it can draft an email for you, but it doesn't give the LLM enough information to render a successful result. So it will be somewhat generic. But if you're more descriptive, like for example, write a professional email to a teammate declining a meeting because I'm heads down on a deadline. Propose 2 alternative timelines next week. Keep it under 120 words and include a subject line. So this gives the agent a little bit more context on what you do. So with this chat, the agent's going to read that and it's going to propose a nice generic draft email that you could use. There's a couple of kind of patterns we can use to kind of help us with this. I always, from coding, writing code, it's research, plan, and implement, right? So if the LLM, if you need to give it context, you may want to ask it to research. The nice thing about Scout is web search is built in, but most all copilots have that. So you could say, research the latest stocks for these ticker symbols. Or if you have documents, you can add those documents with a paperclip and then ask it to summarize or explain. Working with tone can help. So if you want to be friendly or firm or whatever, just really focus around tone. And again, just like you may talk to an intern or may talk to an assistant, those types of little friendly, firm, executive ready can help guide the LLM to get the information you want the best. Another thing we would like to do is break big tasks into smaller prompts. LLMs can handle complex work, but quality drops when you ask for everything at once. For example, instead of, help me write a project plan for our Q2 onboarding improvements. Let's do this. List 6 to 8 deliverables for improving onboarding in Q2. Context. We support 200 new users per week, and our biggest issue is time to first value. And with that, it's going to give a much better response than just help me write a project plan. It's write me an email. It's just not enough information. It'll try and it'll give you generics, and even this example is probably too generic, but it will produce a plan. Now there's 3 kind of controls that really can improve the results fast. So what you may want to play around with is this concept of a role, right? You can say, you are a staff level product manager rewrite this roadmap update so it's clear, concrete, and avoids hype, and make the audience for executives. So with this, we're giving it a role, telling it what its voice should be, and then we're giving it an audience, and then we're giving it an action. And then with this one, we would just attach the roadmap, and then it would work on rewriting it. Another is to ask for format. So format is just basically like asking for the output. Let's go, for example, to give me 5 drafts. Give me 5 drafts of a welcome email for a new employee. Now I would give it more details. I may add an attachment or our website address so they can know who we are, etc. But this idea of asking for a format and using numbers of things. Give me 3 open questions. Review this brief and identify 5 takes that I want to make, etc. Asking for a format is helpful. And then finally, naming the audience. Explain this is for non-technical stakeholders, or this is for highly technical stakeholders, or this is for lawyers, or this is for accountants. Name the audience that you're trying to produce your output for. And then don't be afraid to revise by giving direct feedback, right? So here, looks good, but make it shorter. So I'm in this chat thread, which is its memory context. So it can remember the things that it said before it, and you can provide feedback to the LLM, and it will make adjustments based on that feedback. Sometimes it will also ask you for clarification if it doesn't have enough data. Another thing I use in terms of kind of this idea of research, plan, and implement, I often ask for a task to create a plan first. Let's do a new one here. You are a short story writer. Create a story about a robot who is lost in the forest and then finds his way to the city and meets other robots and ends up living happily ever after. Then put this in a short form format that is very readable for high schoolers. Okay, so I've got some silly prompt, and now what I want to do is, instead of telling it directly, I'm going to say, create a plan to reduce this. And what that's going to do is tell the LLM to go into a more deep thinking role or research role. It'll go and kind of research your prompt, and then it'll just put this to-do list together, and it'll work through each step. And the nice thing about that to-do list is you can review it and see what it's thinking and find out if you want to augment it in a certain way or change it later. That's really like getting started. And I put together a blog post that kind of drives through these things a little bit deeper. But the biggest thing is to identify your key points, identify the decisions, the action items, and the risk, and then give your content and tell it to go with a plan. And I think you'll find that you'll get better results. Also, this is a good warm up for understanding how agents work, because here we're working in co-pilot mode. So it's doing a lot of work, but it's not able to do much. It's okay, here's a draft. Now you have to copy that draft and put it in your email, or here's a document. You have to attach it to get access to that data. what we'll do in other courses is go through a little bit deeper and how you can kind of help these LLMs get access to tools so they can actually do a little bit more than just provide you content and data to move elsewhere. Thank you for taking the time to watch this course. If you have any questions, join us in the Scout Academy LinkedIn group. Feel free to ask them there. Or if you really want to get deeper into building agents, join us in our Slack community channel, and there will be a link provided in this course for that as well.